In our generation, social media has expanded enormously. For example, there's the internet and a vast majority of smartphones. My team and I will be explaining how social media affects us in a negative context. Students who are heavy social media users tend to have lower grades. For example,
Studying?
Yes, I am studying.
Alright, good job. Proud of you.
Love you, Fox.
Social media causes people to spend less time interacting face to face. For example,
Another example is where social networking enables cheating on school assignments.
yo, Ashton, did you study for the math test for tomorrow?
no, I'm doing it right now.
Dude, you don't need to. Minnie just sent me the answers through Facebook Messenger, and I'll just send it to you too.
Alright, like, good looks, man.
Thank you.
Social networking sites entice people to waste time. For example,
Ashton, try to play soccer outside?
Nah, I'm gonna just stay inside today.
Alright, man. You're just wasting a beautiful day. That's all I gotta say. Lastly, using social media can harm students' chances for college admissions.
Then, see, if you were on Facebook 24/7, you would have gotten into the college you dreamed of all your life. You just got denied from your college.
We are here today with Mr. Toro, and we're going to ask him for his opinion on social media. First question, do you use social media?
Yes, I do.
How often do you check social media?
Every other day.
How do you think social media affects you?
Social media, I think, is people tend to get too personal with it, meaning that you really don't have any privacy. So I feel that a lot of times some people may, if they're angry or something, they might voice something that they may regret later on and could get them in certain trouble with family members or something similar to that.
Do you feel that way at your workplace?
Yes, I do. As far as my workplace, one is if a person is using that social media, one, he's not doing his job because he's too busy talking, communicating with the social media. Two, people tend to vent, and it's a lot easier to vent through a phone or a computer rather than talking to a person face to face, where they may not really, they would think twice about saying what they say. And I think that a lot of that, in that perspective, is it could be very damaging to other people. Certain things like bullying. I mean, it's so much easier to bully somebody over a phone rather than to talk to the person face to face.
Last question. Knowing that you have 2 children, how do you think it affects them?
Well, I think sometimes they can become obsessive with it. I mean, every single minute somebody's calling you up and you're not focusing on the job at hand, say doing homework or doing your chores or just communicating with your parents. A lot of them are too busy looking at their phones. And if you just take a look at when people go out to dinner and look around you, instead of talking to somebody face to face and communicating to the person that you're sitting across from, everybody's looking at their phones and doing social media without any kind of communication whatsoever. So you tend to lose touch with people, and that tends to make it insensitive instead of having that social interaction.
So overall, your opinion on social media, you're saying that it affects people in a negative way?
To a certain extent, yes. Everything has its pluses, everything has its negatives.
Okay.
I tend to see it as, middle of the road. Yeah, it's great as far as communications. You can get communications right away. I mean, you can get information right away, but you have to be aware of what type of information you're getting and what information you're giving out. You know, it's too easy for everybody to know who you are and what you're doing and where you're going. The old saying, watch out for Big Brother. All right.
Yeah, I think we're done.
So I'm here today with Kelly to discuss about social media. His first question, do you use social media?
Yeah, of course.
How often?
Every day, not too much, but like a couple times a day I'll scroll through it.
Do you think it affects you in a negative way?
Yeah, definitely. It causes a lot of distractions, it allows me to procrastinate, and it's definitely harmed my interpersonal interactions.
Could you give an example?
Yeah, sure. So sometimes I'm doing my homework and someone texts me, so I go to answer the text and then I end up looking at a notification and then I end up checking my email and it ends up being a while before I actually get back to what I was doing. And as far as interpersonal interactions, this quote about sharing memories around the table, it really takes away from your relationships with other people when you can't focus your time on them because you're so busy wrapped up in the internet and social media.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
Conflicts in the Middle East run along very old lines. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict goes back decades. Tensions between Shias and Sunnis go back centuries, and they're boiling over in Iraq and Syria and beyond. But a new fault line has emerged in recent years: social media. Cyber battles are now changing the age-old conflicts between the people in power and the power of the people. Most of us use these tools now. For some, they're weapons to start a revolution, to wage a war. The power of social media was mobilized in 2009 in Iran's failed Green Revolution, and then in the historic uprisings we called the Arab Spring. They started in Tunisia, went to Egypt, and across the region. It's not just activists who've recognized this power. Governments, regimes use it too. In Syria, for example, the Syrian Electronic Army is described as the first virtual Arab army. It hacks into websites of the opposition, Western media, and human rights groups. In real wars, social media has become a weapon in every armory. In the Gaza war, Israel is turning to it to take the high ground, to deny they targeted civilians in a school, to make it clear Hamas is the aggressor. There's even a clever app that allows you to imagine the range of these rockets, wherever you are. The narrative is carried by many people on many fronts. University volunteers joined the effort.
A large portion of our efforts is trying to comment and talk back on articles and posts that are pro-Palestinian and anti-Israel. We do it on both on Facebook and Twitter, and also websites and articles that we find. Right now, the war is not only in the front, it's also a lot in the media.
But Hamas is on this front line too. Videos from their tunnels are widely available on video sharing sites like YouTube, and they're active on Twitter too. They've even released guidelines on how Gazans should use Twitter to report Israeli assaults. But Israel is an old hand in this information war, with an army of savvy spokespersons coached by the best in the business.
Persuadables won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Show empathy for both sides.
But as the old saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. In the Gaza war, so strong are the images, they're worth millions of words. But it's the images used by the most violent groups that have no compare. And that's the point. Videos released by ISIS in Syria and Iraq are meant to shock, and they do. Images like young Shia soldiers in Iraq being led away and executed en masse are the latest to emerge.
On the one hand, they're doing it to scare a target audience, which in this case is specifically Iraqi soldiers who are trying to fight against them. I think on the other hand, it has an element of recruitment. You're trying to attract people. You're showing you're very strong. You're showing you control this territory and do these things to these people. I think then the final element, which is very interesting and is maybe more particular to ISIS, is this idea of showing extreme brutality and using that to draw people in.
Across the Middle East, conflicts are merging in some ways, remain distinct in others. But when it comes to the battle for hearts and minds, even the most asymmetric wars are being fought with at least one weapon now available to all.